Hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top business stories. Caution on Dalal Street ahead of the monetary policy tomorrow. Sensex down nearly 600 points, Nifty below 16,450. Realty, IT, capital goods, top losers. 10-year bond yield at highest level in more than 3 years ahead of RBI policy tomorrow indicates the financial markets are bracing for a rate hike. 60% of those polled by Business Today expect a 40 to 50 basis point hike. LIC continues to disappoint investors. Share plunges 3% in trade today. With today's fall, shareholders lose 1.23 lakh crores in 16 sessions. It's a big Business Today TV exclusive. Top officials tell us the government is looking at changing the definition and ambit of virtual digital asset. New guidelines could be issued very soon. This could be the break crypto investors were looking for. Could be the end of the road for the notorious Gupta brothers who went from Saharanpur to Durban to Dubai, accused of massive scams in South Africa. They've been arrested in the Emirates and could be extradited very soon. Benchmarks declined for the third straight day as investors booked profit a day ahead of the RBI's monetary policy outcome. Sensex fell 793 points intraday before closing 568 points lower at 55,107. Though the Nifty 2 slipped 153 points, it did manage to hold on to the crucial 16,400 mark. So what weighed on investor sentiment today? The street anxiously awaited the result of RBI's MPC meet. The RBI is likely to hike interest rates by another 40 to 50 basis points to rein in inflation. Persistent rise in crude oil prices is a cause of concern for investors. The street is keeping a close eye on CPI inflation and also US inflation, which is expected on Friday. Consumer durables, realty, IT and financials among the worst hit pockets, with Titan, UPL, Dr. Reddy's, Britannia, L&T shedding between 3 to 4%. Meanwhile, insurance behemoth LIC continue to disappoint, shares hitting an all-time low at 751. At the current level, the stock is available at a discount of around 21% to its IPO price. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has hailed retail investors in the equity market, saying they are playing the role of shock absorbers at a time foreign portfolio investors are pulling out of India. The minister said the pandemic witnessed a very significant increase in retail investor numbers. Listen in to the FM speak at the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations.
During the pandemic, the very significant increase in retail investor numbers in India. In fact, there are times when I've answered, even in the parliament, that if FPIs are going away and coming into the country as and when, and giving us a feeling that funds are going out of India, retail investors in India have come in a big way that they seem to act like the shock observers. If FPIs went away, FIIs went away, our markets did not really have to show the ups and downs in a very distinct way, because the small investors in the country have come in a big way, trickling into the country. And that is one of I would think, in the 75th year for us to be able to say that Indian investors, the small and the big and everybody, are coming into the market and coming in with greater awareness.
Oil companies outperformed in the weak market. Higher crude oil prices and benchmark Singapore gross refining margins hitting a record high buoyed the stocks. The OMCs were a happy bunch today, also on the back of reports suggesting that India is looking to double down on its Russian oil imports. The state-owned refiners are now more eager to take heavily discounted supplies from Rosneft. As per reports, India is looking to finalize and secure new 6-month supply contracts. ONGC rose nearly 5% in trade today. Bangalore refinery in Petrochem was up a whopping 20% and Chennai Petroleum 14% in trade. Pharma major Dr. Reddy's down over 3% on fear of increased competition. Credit Suisse has come up with a report which says that there is a new competitor for Suboxone, which is an important product for the company. Aveva, an affiliate of pharma company Apotex, has received the ANDA approval for Suboxone. Moreover, Aveva can potentially be launched immediately, which will cause more competition for Dr. Reddy's. As per Credit Suisse, the impact on Dr. Reddy's would be through lower pricing. Brokerage house has also initiated a neutral rating for DRL with a target price of 4,465 rupees. Shares of PB Fintech, the parent company of Policy Bazaar, nosedive nearly 12% after the company's CEO, Yashish Dahiya, sold over 37 lakh shares via bulk deals. In fact, the shares are a downward slope for the past 1 week, tumbling over 12%. Post the share sale, Dahiya's stock holding has declined to about 4.6% from around 5.45% currently. As per company, the proceeds from this share sale will be used to meet tax expenses on ESOP gains for the chairman. The fintech major assured investors that no further share sales are planned for at least 1 year. The RBI governor will be announcing the decision of the Monetary Policy Committee tomorrow, and a rate hike does seem imminent. In fact, a BT poll shows that all market participants are expecting a 40 to 50 bips hike. The RBI is likely to increase key rates, focusing more on inflation than on growth. Let's head across to Sakshi Batra on what those expectations are from this MPC meet.
In under 12 hours from now, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das will present the policy decisions of the June 6 to June 8 meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee. And here's what you can expect. Well, we'll need to brace for higher rates as there is a wide expectation that the RBI will continue to hike the repo rate after a 40 basis points hike that we've seen already in an off-cycle raise. Now, the expectations range anywhere between 25 to 50 basis points this time around. Our BT poll indicates that 41% of the participants believe the RBI will go with a 25 bips hike. Also, a 25% respondents believe that there could be a 40 basis points hike this time around, while a 34% section of the participants believe that RBI could hike the repo rate by 50 basis points this time. Now, a rate hike will not be surprising as the move will be in tandem with what the central banks across the world are doing to tame inflation. Look at the Australian Central Bank, for example. Just yesterday, they have raised their interest rates by 50 basis points as well. Talk about the US Federal Reserve that has been aggressively doing the rate hikes as well to tame the red-hot inflation, which is at a 40-year high for them. And it is a priority for economies worldwide and for India as well, as inflation back home has surged across the board, making everything from groceries to electronics quite expensive for the common man right here. Now, analysts also expect that the central bank will raise the inflation projection for the ongoing fiscal year from 5.7% earlier to a more realistic number above the 6% mark as well. Now, most economists do rule out another hike in the liquidity measure CRR this time around. Now, what could a rate hike really mean for the common man, as well as an immediate effect on loans and EMIs? Well, all of those will be set to rise from here on as banks will continue to raise the home loan rates. All your new auto loans and personal loans will also get expensive in tandem with the rate hikes too. But the big question that we have been constantly asking is that why are the deposit rates not really rising in tandem with the lending rates right now? Well, while banks have immediately passed on the hike in the repo, in fact, in a lending rate as well, but the deposit rates have not really moved as much. Experts here believe that deposit rates will not move so soon as the market continues to have surplus liquidity even now, and banks don't see the need to attract more deposits as of now as well. So in a way, savers like you and me will continue to suffer widening negative real interest rates amid the spiraling inflation.
Thanks for that, Sakshi. While the monsoon may have arrived in India, summer heat has torched parts of central and northwestern India with temperatures as high as 45 degrees Celsius or more. There is no respite in sight for the residents of Delhi and NCR. Even the hilly areas are reeling under the scorching sun. With food inflation soaring high, a normal monsoon is a ray of hope usually for the economy. Though the Met Department expects it to be normal, it does seem to be getting off to a rocky start. When will Central India get some respite? Joining us now is GP Sharma from SkyMed. Mr. Sharma, take us through the pace of the monsoon and what's worrying you as we advent into June.
See, the monsoon, as of now, it never made a kickstart. Though it was announced almost about 10 days back, 29th of May. And as of today, it's not a very good news on the monsoon front because it's very slow, rather slow. Spread is also a little poor. And overall, starting with 1st of June, in the week from 1st to 7th of June, there is a deficiency of 37%. Mind you, it's a huge deficiency. And the monsoon, which starts off with the southern parts of the peninsula, there also the rains are rather well below the average. Deficiency of almost about 20%, at places even more than that. Central parts and northern parts, in any case, it's huge. It's more than 80%. In any case, the monsoon arrives over northern parts a little late. And in any case, nowadays, the heat wave is going on over the northern parts. Hardly any rains. Deficiency for northwestern parts, almost 94% as of now. So monsoon is going to take a little time to, I will say, make a good start over southern India.
Right. What about the kind of impact this is going to have if we see a sustained slow monsoon, whether it be on kharif crop sowing, on rural demand or inflation? That's really what economists are worried about at this point of time, Mr. Sharma. Do you feel that the monsoon is going to take a hit? Because we were hoping to see, an overall, regular or per average monsoon this year. Is there any risk to that happening?
See, the impact, when I say yes, because the monsoon rains will be delayed, and particularly, as I mentioned, over those areas where they need the most rain-fed areas, the core monsoon rains, that's a parts of central India, even parts of Gujarat also, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, adjoining parts of even Telangana, Chhattisgarh. This is the core monsoon belt, which depends largely on the rains. Obviously, when the rains are not there, these areas are definitely going to suffer. But then, our advice will be they should hold on to the sowing operations as of now, delay in sowing, as well as either they delay the sowing or change of crop. There are always crops which need a little less amount of water. The cycle also is short. We can change over to that. Overall, if you talk about the season, it may not get impacted. The rains, they come late, still the season perform. It's just 4-month-long season from June to September. Overall, we still feel that it's going to end possibly in a normal monsoon, but the distribution initially in the first half of June, particularly, it's going to be disastrous. It is nowhere going to be to the liking of the farming community. Subsequently, I think after about 15th, particularly I will say after 20th of June, there will be pickup. And that is the time when possibly all these operations which we mentioned, farming operations and agriculture operations, they can be carried out at that point, which means it's a delay of about 2 weeks or more. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma. Let's take a very quick break. On that note, when we come back, we'll focus on the Gupta brothers and that entire scam. Do stay tuned. Back in just a moment.
India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed, My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% pure prime time. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
Welcome back. The law has finally caught up with the notorious Gupta brothers of South Africa, with 2 of the 3 brothers being arrested in Dubai. So who are these infamous Gupta brothers? What crimes are they accused of committing? What explains their fall from a time when they had the clout to commandeer a South African military airbase to receive their guests for a wedding, to now becoming fugitives? Here's the story of the Guptas of Johannesburg and the end of their Dubai dreams.
The Sahara estate in Saxonwold, Johannesburg was a compound of at least 4 mansions and home to the Gupta brothers of UP Saharanpur. Ajay, Rajesh and Atul. All was fine till 2018 when they left South Africa for Dubai after their over 2-decade-long spectacular run ran into trouble. Their aura was pierced when the brothers were accused of breaching South Africa's national security by getting a chartered Jet Airways flight to land at the Waterkloof Air Force Base on April 30th, 2013. Instead of official guests, a commission of inquiry later found the plane contained 200 guests from India for a wedding in the family. A public uproar forced the family to issue an apology. Cut to June 2019, the Himalayan resort town of Auli was the venue of yet another over-the-top family wedding. The sons of 2 of the 3 Gupta brothers got married at an altitude of 9,500 feet. Notorious for leaving a political mess in their wake in South Africa, the Gupta brothers left a mess here too, and were later fined for littering when 22 tons of garbage was reportedly left behind. For the past 4 years, the Gupta brothers have been living the life of moneyed fugitives in Dubai, despite Interpol issuing red notices against them and the US and the UK declaring them persona non grata. The tide turned against them last year when South Africa signed an extradition treaty with the UAE, setting the stage for the eventual arrest of Rajesh and Atul, while the 3rd brother Ajay remains free. The 3 brothers migrated to South Africa in 1993 from Saharanpur, starting off by setting up a company called Sahara Computers. The brothers slowly expanded their business into various sectors, including mining, air travel, energy, technology and media. In 2016, Atul Gupta was listed as the 7th richest South African with a personal wealth valued at over $700 million. A judicial inquiry into state graft spanning more than 3 years detailed the close relation between the brothers and President Zuma. Zuma's son was a director of Sahara Computers and was involved in the family's other companies. Zuma's 3rd wife, Bongi Gema, and one of his daughters had also been employees of the Guptas. The Gupta family is also alleged to have lobbied against ministers who meddled with the family's business interests and got them sacked. The inquiry found that at least 500 billion rand and $32 billion was stolen during Zuma's 9-year rule. The Gupta brothers and Zuma have always denied the allegations. The arrest has led to fresh news reports of the close family links of the Guptas with the new promoter of Jet Airways, Murari Jalan. And while Jet Airways may soon take to the air again, the Guptas have had a hard landing. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
Joining us on the show, Rajesh Sundaram, consultant Business Today TV, and Erin Marisa Bates, a journalist, Business Day South Africa. Thank you both for being with us. Erin, a big development for South Africa, isn't it, with the Gupta brothers? They ran away in 2018, had refused to appear before South African courts or agencies.
Quite right. They were very dramatic events after former President Jacob Zuma stepped down on the eve of Valentine's Day, February the 14th, 2018. The Gupta's luxury family estate in Saxonwold, a very high-end neighborhood in Johannesburg, was swooped upon by authorities. The trio of leading brothers in that family, Rajesh, Atul and Ajay, all fleeing the country. We haven't seen them since, and our law enforcement agencies and our national authorities have been pursuing them over alleged state capture that is stealing a slew of money from the state through various mechanisms and various shenanigans, leveraging that relationship they had with Zuma and his family.
All right. Rajesh, there have been so many hearings of the judicial investigation into, as Aaron put it, state capture. How deep-rooted was their influence in the Jacob Zuma government? And, it's said that they decided on ministerial appointments and really went to that extent of influence.
Well, the state capture, there is a judicial probe that's happening headed by the deputy head of the Supreme Court of South Africa, the Zondo Commission. And there have been testimonies by various people who've spoken about the kind of influence they had, not just in creating policy, but also choosing who would be part of the cabinet, who were the people who were reluctant to follow their cues and who had to be removed from there. And also it's estimated that about $32 billion US, they're accused of looting that and moving out of the country. So the scale, it affects every public sector enterprise of the South African government, from coal to aviation to mining. The entire sweep was involved with this. And it's really the taxpayers of South Africa whose money this was, and $32 billion US is what they're accused of looting.
Wow. How much of a role, Aaron, did the 2019 sanctions on the brothers by the US Treasury, similar action by the UK authorities, and then the recent FATF action on the UAE play in the arrest of two of the three brothers?
Well, I think we need to distinguish the US Treasury, of course, sanctioning the Gupta brothers and their close associate Salim Essa. And that was based, we understand, on information gathered from a singular hard drive, which drew information from the Sahara Computers server. Of course, the Gupta brothers arrived in South Africa in the 1990s. They kind of got their shoe in with government supplying laptops and building up Sahara Computers. And from there, their empire really just mushroomed to the point where they were allegedly running meetings out of our president's very office. So the US Treasury action, the action by the UK authorities, and then the work that the South African authorities have been doing with partners in the UAE to get the Guptas extradited are relatively separate, although of course all based on the same facts, the same evidence, which at least to the US Treasury, the UK authorities, and the South African National Prosecuting Authority provides concrete basis for charging two of the three brothers. I think one of the questions that many South Africans will be asking is, why has Ajay, considered the patriarch of the family, not been issued a red notice and is not in line to be indicted too? It's only Atul and Rajesh Tony who have been charged in relation to actually a pretty small matter of corruption in comparison with the figure that Rajesh Sundaram cited there. And of course, the figures we know, as he said, the alleged corruption and state capture the Guptas committed in cahoots with the very top echelons of South African government and the head of state ran across different state enterprises, aviation, military, rail, infrastructure across the board. And the actual matter that they're being hooked in here on is relatively small. But if it gets them back, I think for a lot of South Africans, that might be the best thing.
Okay, we're almost out of time, but I just want to get a quick take from both of you on whether or not the authorities actually know where this money is invested by the Gupta brothers. The authorities in South Africa, are they hopeful that that will be returned to South Africa? Aaron?
I think hopeful, yes. As for the plausibility of accruing all of the stolen loot, I think that's almost impossible. Some of the financial laundering processes and financial flows have been traced with the help of bank records, but there's plenty that's ferreted away in places I'm sure we'll never see or catch. But if we can get some of the billions back into the fiscus and back into building the country and providing services to the people on the ground, it will have been worth all of this time and effort and the many years of struggle which have been involved and are undoubtedly going to continue.
Well, the downfall of yet another business empire. Erin, Rajesh, thank you both so much for joining us today. Finally, there could be some more clarity on the government's outlook towards crypto or virtual digital assets. Government officials have told Business Today TV that fresh guidelines could be issued by the beginning of next month. For this, the government is reportedly considering modifications to the definition and ambit of these virtual digital assets. The big question, of course, is whether the government will change the draconian tax rules controlling the trade. For more information on this, we're joined by my colleague Karishma Sudani. Karishma, take us through all the latest.
Well, right, you can expect some changes in the definition of virtual digital assets. In fact, these clarifications could be released around 16th or 17th of June as per sources from Finance Ministry. Government may exclude certain products from the definition of virtual digital assets that they had specified in Union Budget 2022. In fact, we are being told that points that are earned from credit card could be given a waiver from taxation under VDS. As per 1% TDS, as per my sources, there's no such change that could be expected with that, though the industry has written multiple requests to government to remove the 1% TDS on cryptocurrency.
And that's why we leave it on the show tonight. Thanks so much for watching.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are...
Bollywood's biggest night returns. After a 2-year pause, it's back with a bang.
Welcome to Alpha!
I'm Dipali Patel and you